Hello friends, welcome to GK Sports India YouTube channel for this review of the second test match at Edgbaston, England versus India in the Tendulkar Anderson Trophy. Rather, it should be other way around, the Anderson-Tendulkar Trophy, England versus India 2025. To review the second test match in which India comprehensively won by 336 runs, a record victory, highest margin of victory for India in tests away from home. And to discuss this, we have K. Srinath, our GK Sports India expert, former player, and now a BCCI panel umpire. Shri, how happy are you with India leveling the series when not many gave India the chance to come back after the first test defeat?
I mean, can't be words to describe the victory, Jiko. Extremely happy and partially, I'm so happy that, when I was one of those, I wouldn't say vocal critic, but was also, wondering after the team selection in the second test match. I thought, would India be able to get 20 wickets with this bowling attack and, come back and level the series? Because this test match was extremely important. Had India not won this test game, or rather lost this test match, I think it would have been back to the walls. Over the moon, and more than anything, I'm extremely happy for Shubman Gill, a young captain, a baptism by fire, I would say. We all know, the loss of three stalwarts in the recent times, and a very young and resurgent Indian side. I think they showed tremendous character, and we discussed in the last show, Jiko, how good this 1 week break would have been between the first and second test match. I think this break has done wonders, and I'm extremely happy for this Indian side. I think they have raised the bar to such a level. I think it's going to be a very, very keenly contested series from here on, and we're going to have three fantastic test matches to follow.
Yes, you just mentioned about the break doing India a world of good. And whatever we saw India make mistakes in the first test match, we saw none of them. And thankfully, the ball did not chase Yashasvi Jaiswal and there was no dropped chance. Of course, there was one or two here and there, but then that's a part and parcel of a test match where India scored 1,000 plus, as if 800 was not enough in the first test, and that showed that they could not win with 800 plus combined. They just took the scales to something unimaginable. 1,014 runs, 430 of them from the bat of the broad bat, can we say, of Shubman Gill, leading by example, 269, 161 in the second innings. Could it have got any better? Could it have got any, a complete teamwork better than this for India in England especially?
Absolutely, I think you nailed it. Two areas where India were really concerned after the first test match was one was their catching more than fielding. I think they were spot on. We did see a couple of small changes. Yashasvi was not spotted in the slip region. He was at short leg or silly point wherever he fielded. There was a new slip cordon, and as you said, the lower order let India down very badly in the first test match. 7 in the first innings, 6 in the second innings for nothing. I think the second innings, the Indian batters never got a chance to come out to bat the lower order. The same was in the first innings. I think these two areas were really concerning and bothering India, and pretty much I think everybody were vocal about the way the lower order batted and the way we caught actually, especially in the slips. I think those two were perfectly addressed. I think on a scale of 10, if you look at this game for India, and mind you, played on such a docile pitch, and certainly this pitch will be marked very poor in terms of the ICC rankings. Certainly not a pitch that you can dole out for a test match. And mind you, on such a flat track, I think it was typically, I think they used a road roller and it looked like a cement track. And getting 20 wickets, and India literally out-batted England in this test match. And I would certainly give a 10 on 10 for this game. I think you can't expect a better performance, covering all bases. I think that was fabulous. So I think this break really did wonders for India, and very happy the way things panned out in the second test match.
Oh yes, 20 wickets India did take without Jasprit Bumrah, and so much was spoken about the absence of Jasprit Bumrah, whether India will take 20 wickets to win a test match forget, let alone save a test match. But then, how good was Akash Deep? Not many gave him the chance. People building up to the test match, including you and I, spoke about Arshdeep probably getting a chance, but not many mentioned about Akash Deep. He came silently in his own way. 10 wickets in a match, 4 in the first, 6 in the second, on a tar road, as you just mentioned. Akash Deep, he is a wicket-taking bowler, and he should have played much more than he has actually played so far in his Test career, shouldn't he?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, there were times when India went with Bumrah, Siraj, and Shami, and he was, the guy who could replace any one of them due to a break or due to an injury. As you said, Jiko, just a small background to Akash Deep. See, we harp so much on, people having experience by playing domestic cricket. And I have seen Akash Deep quite a bit, and he's been around with the Bengal side for the last 7 or 8 years. And mind you, it comes with rich experience of bowling that many number of overs in a day on unresponsive tracks in India. So that is what held him in good stead. You can be picked by your performances in IPL, but when you come out and need to bowl those 20 odd overs, people generally get carried away. They say that England is the place for faster bowlers to come and excel. But the sort of conditions we've seen in the first two test matches, it's been graveyard for bowlers in general, just not fast bowlers, even for the spinners. And mind you, coming out there, and yes, even I was one of those people who said, does India have the ammunition in their kitty to get 20 wickets to bowl England out twice and win this test match? I'm extremely happy. I'm over the moon that I've been proved wrong. In fact, if I have to relate just a small thing, when we were youngsters, when Sunil Gavaskar announced his retirement from Test match cricket, in the neighborhood, we used to discuss saying, will India get off the mark because Gavaskar is retired? We thought there's nobody to replace Sunil Gavaskar. And mind you, with this, I would say relatively inexperienced Indian attack, everybody thought minus Bumrah, it would be a cakewalk for England. I think, including me, every pundit, every cricket expert who went on to speak about this Indian bowling attack has been proved wrong, and all of them will be extremely happy. And I put up my hand and say, as you said, unsung and unspoken hero. Why only Akash Deep? In fact, Siraj, for the amount of workload he's played twice the number of first-class games which Akash Deep has played. I think it's a testimony to these cricketers who have gone through the grind in domestic. You can't be a 2-3 domestic match player and walk in and say that you'll take the world by storm with your bowling. It can happen in a one-off game. You'll be just a one-trick pony. Like it could be a case of Harshit Rana, with due respects to Prasid. He was a purple cap holder, but he's not played much of domestic. You go through the grind, you realize what you need to do there, and that's what I think helped Akash Deep to a very large extent. And as I say, extremely happy for that boy. Though he came in late, as you said, he should have played much more. But unfortunately, having the trio of Bumrah, Shami, and Siraj around, from here on, I think nobody should be talking about leaving out Akash Deep from the 11. I think he should be a sure starter with Bumrah, and whenever Bumrah is not rested, I think he'll be one of the leaders of the pack.
So you just mentioned about the neighborhood having doubts if India will get off the mark. I was just reminded of what was being spoken about. Viv Richards telling Sunil Gavaskar when Gavaskar was not opening in that odd test match and walking at number 4, it was still no runs, 2
Zero.
wickets down, 0 for 2, and Viv Richards saying, doesn't matter whether you come open or number 4, it's the same.
So what reminds us.
Anyway, but
Exactly.
then, yeah, so that's Akash Deep. When he made his debut last year, and he made it. I think he took 3 wickets early in his test debut. I had a word with Arun Lal, who has seen him, who was then coach of Bengal. He was speaking high about Akash Deep and Mukesh Kumar and them bowling in pairs for Bengal in Ranji Trophy, and that worked. Mukesh Kumar was also in the Indian team for quite a while, but then now he has lost his way. But then Akash Deep has been tremendous. Akash Deep, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj, and you have whatever 1 or 2 spinners to go to Lords. How good, how dominating can this bowling attack be come the 3rd test match later this week?
I think the tails are up, and you know, India will be on cloud seven, cloud nine. But certainly, yes, it is time to celebrate, and they would have had a great evening yesterday. And yes, time to put up your feet because the faster bowlers have done a lot of bowling in this test match on an unresponsive track. Yes, I think England would be very wary of the Indian bowling attack now. You mentioned Bumrah, Akash Deep, and Siraj. I think there'll be more than a handful. And yes, depending on Jadeja would certainly be a sure starter. History has never seen two spinners being played at Lords. Will India bite the bullet and continue with Washi to strengthen the batting, the lower order? And there are two left-handers in the England side with Ben Duckett and Ben Stokes. Would they persist with him, or would they take the gamble of going in with Kuldeep Yadav to just create that sort of doubt in England's mind? I think it would be a peach to get these three fast bowlers bowling in tandem in Lords. And we all know the slope at Lords, how much damage it can create. And somebody like Bumrah can get on that slope and get the ball sliding back in. It's going to create a lot of doubts in the mind of the English batters. I think I'm just, a week away is quite a long time for me. I wish the test match could happen in a couple of days' time, to get glued to the television sets to watch our three Indian fast bowlers going against the England batters.
Don't worry, Sri. It's just about 3 days. The test match starts on Friday. So I, like you, can't just wait for the test, and especially Lord's cricket ground. What better venue do you want? If not being at Lord's, at least watch a test match at Lord's. Whoever plays, and when India is playing, no better than Lord's cricket ground test match. Sri, if we noticed in this test match, the Edgbaston, India picked up wickets with the new ball, the first one and the second one, but in between, when the ball lost its shine, that's when Jamie Smith and Harry Brook put on the 300 plus partnership. Is that something to work on, not being able to pick up wickets when the ball is not new, when the shine of the ball is lost? Is it something that the bowling coach and the bowlers will have to work on?
There are a couple of things on this, Jiko. There's generally been talk about the quality of the Duke balls, going down. They've seen a deterioration in the quality of the Duke balls. The Duke's ball typically are something very similar to what we use in India, the SG test. So there is a prominent seam. And as you mentioned very clearly, the Indian fast bowlers, especially Siraj and Akash Deep, they really made early inroads and they were really lethal, I would say, on this placid track with the new ball. And once the ball got a little bit softer, and we saw repeatedly the bowlers approaching the umpires for, requesting for a change in ball because of the shape. I think these balls were just growing that much bit softer a bit early. And I wouldn't say it's a cause of concern. We need to understand that we are playing a high quality international side as an opponent. So 85 for 5, you don't expect a team to be bowled out at 90. You've got Harry Brook, who's the future of world cricket, not only England cricket. Exciting talent, as his numbers speaks for what he's done so far. And in England, they talk about him very highly, and he's reckoned to be the future leader of the England side. And Jamie Smith, goodness me, I think all the 10 franchisees in India sitting and watching this bloke play would certainly have their radar on him. I think he's going to be a big buy in the forthcoming, IPL. Fabulous cricket he played, and it was exciting talent to watch. And mind you, you have to, give it to them the way they put on that partnership with the counter attack. And yes, that was the time when I thought, Shubman Gill sat back and, was waiting for things to happen. That was the time when I thought, India looked like they were defending a target of 250. Mind you, they had put up a massive first inning score, and they had, nothing to really worry about. Not many catches behind the stumps. The spinners didn't have any attacking fielders in front of them. That was a period that was a bit worrying. But overall, I think it's got to do more with the ball. And mind you, though the England attack is inexperienced, somebody like Wokes was again only good enough with the new ball. Kaas and Tongue, though they had the speed, they just couldn't do anything on this pitch. So that's it. I mean, I personally believe that it's got to do more with the quality of the ball. Yes, as you mentioned, certainly, there would have been discussions about how to use the older ball to more effect. Had the Indian spinners been more restrictive, at least, this problem wouldn't have, occurred.
Talk about the old ball and the reverse swing. We didn't get to see much of reverse swing, though there were in on occasions where Josh Tongue was bowling. There was talk of the ball reversing, but not prominent, isn't it? So how does that work when the ball is soft, the pitch is rough, and reverse swing not happening?
It's just not about the pitch being abrasive or rough, because it's typically, trying to get one side of the ball rough and maintain the shine on the other side. We are playing in England, lush green outfields. So how do you expect the ball to get abrasive? And if you're playing in outfields which are a little bit, bumpy and a bit rough, maybe bouncing the ball once on the throw, you can try to rough up one side and try and get that reverse swing going. To be honest, maybe in the first test match we did see cars get a little bit of reverse, but overall we've just not seen that because I've seen both Siraj and Akash Deep. Both of them are very good exponents of reverse swing, especially Mohammad Siraj with the older ball. If they were not able to get that, so it showed that the bowlers were more like bowling machines and the batters were padded up like gladiators. But having said that, a tremendous bowling performance from India.
See, just a while ago, you mentioned about during the partnership between Brook and Smith in the first innings. Gill was waiting for things to happen. Just two test matches old as a captain. I thought that he was a reactive captain rather than a proactive captain. Did you also get that kind of a feeling, waiting for things to happen and then having field placement where the ball had just gone the previous delivery? Had there been a fielder, it would have been a catch, especially in the slip cordon. Two tests as captain, but still he won an important test match. But then overall captaincy, how would you rate Shubman Gill?
Yes, he's looked, just finding his feet in international cricket as a captain. Early days, as you mentioned, 1-all result in his favor. Hats off the way he handled the side in the second test match. I would say yes, he was, partly reactive both in the first test match and in the first innings of the second test match. But when India put up those massive runs and gave England a target of 607, that was the time when we saw he became a bit proactive. No, he had the cushion of having more fielders in the closing cordon. He attacked them. He wasn't waiting for things to happen. So I thought he learned pretty quickly from what he did in the previous three innings, I would say. And yes, certainly this victory would do a world of confidence, not only to his batting, certainly to his captaincy skills also. And I firmly believe that he's there in the right place, and he's going to be the future leader for Indian cricket in the days to come by. It's just about backing him and backing this young Indian side. That's the most important thing. And also, we need to be patient. We can't judge, a cricketer by one series, two test matches, or a captain just by one series. So it's time we need to give him. And right now, I think it's time to celebrate coming back from a whopping defeat in the first test match, beating England, as you mentioned, by one of the largest margins in an away series. That's commendable and certainly quick learner. And we'll see a different Shubman Gill when we, look at him walk out at Lords.
Shubman Gill, the start of the series, before that, he had not batted at number 4. But he seems to have taken to number 4 just like, it belonged to him. 149 in the first test, a combined at 430 in the second test, both as captain at number 4. Has he replaced, or is the ideal replacement for the one who replaced at that position? And the one also before that?
I mean, look, comparisons are not fair because we are talking about massive shoes of Virat Kohli. But one thing I would like to, comment on is in modern day cricket, contemporary cricket, I'm talking about top cricketers are the ones who batted at number 4. It's not number 3. You can talk about Joe Root batting at 4 for England, one of the modern day greats. Stephen Smith. We have Kane Williamson. And I think Shubman Gill has taken the number 4 position like a fish is taken to water. I think he's embraced it just like that, and he never shows any glimpse of that pressure or responsibility or added weight on his shoulders saying that I'm captaining the Indian side. Because he's made it very clear. He says, when I'm batting, I never think that I'm a captain of the side. That's a great sign. And that shows the sort of maturity he has when he's going out to bat there. So I think, yes, he's embraced it. And as of today, as of yesterday, I would say, he's not, shown the glimpse of that void that has been left over by our great former number four. But it's early days. You can't be comparing two cricketers in the modern era. But certainly, yes, he's taken to that position just like, he had it for the last 100 years. Absolutely a fantastic performance from Shubman Gill as a batter.
And just the ninth batsman to score a double hundred and 100 in the same test match, joining among others Sunil Gavaskar, Brian Lara, Graham Gooch. And he was 39 runs short of becoming only the first batsman to score two double hundreds in a same first-class match, let alone a test match. Only two others have done. And the names are Arthur Fagg in 1938 and Sri Lanka's Angelo Pereira as recently as 2019. The only two instances of two double hundreds in a first-class match. Shubman Gill, yet near, so near yet so far is, but then 430 is still a good enough match aggregate, which only Graham Gooch has done better. He seems to be in elite company, and captaincy has certainly not affected his batting at all. Unlike you mentioned, when he's batting, he doesn't think himself as a captain. But I want to ask you about when he was going well in the second innings, 161. Yes, he got out for a top edge. But the timing of the declaration, India in the second innings, of course, all's well that ends well. But then, considering the rain forecast on the fifth day, could India have declared earlier, or that was the right time? Because there was an expert speaking about India wanting to keep the ball new at the end of the day's play on fourth day and also have it new, fresh at the start of the fifth day. How do you look at the whole scenario of India declaration time?
First thing is we need to commend the belief and conviction Gautam Gambhir and Shubman Gill had in their abilities to take it so deep and bat England totally out of the game. Yes, I was a bit apprehensive when India batted on and decided to just give England about an hour and a half at the end of day 4. And India looked really good with the new ball. Mentioned that could be one of the reasons. 20 overs on 15 to 20 overs on day 4 close. And again, come back fresh with the real hard cherry on day 5. And the end of it, it proved right. One thing, Jiko, England have not made it to the WTC finals in the last 2 editions. They've played a brand of cricket which has been more of entertainment. I have not seen that conviction in them and sort of self-belief saying that they are crossing the line over every time. Now, cricket cannot be one-way traffic. They cannot just have game A, get into it. This was a clear indication. Yes, aggression is the best form of defense. Attack is the best form of defense. That's an adage. But it cannot be always right. England didn't have an answer to just block 90 overs out. To me, had England shown resolve and batted out on day 5 and drawn this test match, morally it would have been a victory. They would have gone into Lords with a lot of confidence. That showed that scoreboard pressure of 608 to chase down with close infielders around the bat. You could see the same England team which followed the Bass ball succumb. We saw a lot of false shots. So they are also human and they can't chase down 350, 400, 500 on a regular basis. They are not machines. They are not robots which are tuned to do that. So I would say, in hindsight, maybe a bit delayed. But as you said, it's all ended well and we are happy for it. But I'm extremely happy for the conviction they had and clarity in thought. The clarity in thought to say that we will bat England out of the game, give them about 105, 110 overs to get down those 600 odd runs. And can England be successful? They cannot. You get them on a cement track with the same bowling attack. It's not easy to get down those 600 runs in 105 overs. When they didn't have plan B, they didn't have the defense. It all showed up. And 336 run loss. It's a massive thing. And England can't hide anywhere. They can come out and say that, India played well, they deserve to win, all that crap. But end of it, when they walk out in Lords, they'll be under tremendous pressure to pull back.
Certainly. And we saw 6 ducks in the England first innings. You remove the 303 partnership, and their batting was absolute failure, except for that Jamie Smith century, outstanding batting, and of course, Harry Brooks' remarkable 150 plus. Coming into the Lord's Test match, which is starting on Friday, what changes do you expect from the England side? Definitely, Jofra Archer is coming into the playing 11. There are talks of Ben Stokes changing his entire bowling attack, getting in some fresh legs like Gus Atkinson. What changes would you foresee for the Lord's Test match?
One would be a forced change, because I think Brendan Cars is carrying an injury on his leg, which would certainly keep him out of the Test match. And no brainer, Jofra Archer would walk in. There are a lot of talks about the position of somebody like Chris Wokes. They're not looking at him on a long prospect for the coming up Ashes, and he's not delivered in the first 2 Test matches. Could be Atkinson, a fresh guy who can bat as well as Wokes can, and can come up and dish out quick stuff. I think England would look at making those 2 changes. I'm not sure about what they have in their kitty or in their pipeline regarding a spinner, because Shoaib Bashir, I don't think he can buy a wicket against India. So we can find plenty of off spinners of his quality in India. In club cricket, mind you, not even in first class level. So I think that's an area where England is struggling, because they've had quality spinners, though be it only one, like Graham Swan. It could have been somebody like Monte Panesar. Even Moeen Ali certainly was definitely a much better choice than Shoaib Bashir. So these 2 changes are what I foresee for England.
And the Indian team, definitely Shubman Gill said that Jasprit Bumrah is coming back for the Lord's Test match. So who goes out, and would you change this? Otherwise, except for one change, would you change this bowling combination? Who took 10 wickets who took 20 wickets without Bumrah?
I think it's a no-brainer. Bumrah walks in place of Prasidh. And off-color, I think he's had pretty ordinary Test matches. Well, I thought when I spoke about Nitish Reddy replacing Shardul Thakur in the second Test match, I think it was more of a knee-jerk reaction. Shardul was not utilized that much in the first Test match with his experience he's had playing in Australia and England, and replacing him with Nitish Reddy, who did nothing at all in the Test match. So would India persist with Nitish Reddy at that position is to be seen. And also, would it be Washington Sundar accompanying Jadeja, or would India just look at leaving Washi out and getting somebody like Kuldeep in? Because I have not seen historically 2 spinners play at Lords. So would they persist with Washington is a question mark because of his batting abilities. One certainly for sure is Bumrah coming in place of Prasidh. And still I would go with Nitish for one more game. My take would be, Kuldeep may be replacing Washington, but that also looks a bit unlikely.
Certainly, when it comes to Lord's Test match, Gladstone Small in a recent interview to me reminded me that 2 of the greatest spinners to have ever played, Shane Warne and Muthiah Muralidharan, do not have a 5-wicket haul at Lord's Cricket Ground. So that speaks about Lord's and not being spinner friendly. But a word on the utility of Ravindra Jadeja. 2 50s in the Edgbaston Test match. Big partnerships, 203 with Gill in the first innings, 175 with Gill in the second innings. Perhaps he seems to be that the link between the top order and the lower order, batting at number 6 or 7 as the case may be. A word on Jadeja and his batsmanship.
I think he's matured, as a cricketer over the last 3-4 years, because he was quite, I would say, immature with his batting at the beginning, not really realizing his potential. But in the last 4-5 years, he's just turned it on. And the experience he has touring England twice earlier with the Indian side, he's been to Australia, he's been to South Africa. And he is one of the senior most cricketers in this current Indian setup, mind you, and he shouldered that responsibility. And people were critical about his bowling performance in the first test match when none of the bowlers could make an impression in the first test match. And why only single out Jadeja? Because he's a guy who's played so much of test cricket. Mind you, 300 plus test match wickets, 3,000 plus runs, averaging 35 with the bat. And as you said, being, the link between the top order and the lower order, he's held himself in good state. Like people have not been speaking big about Akash Deep. Another unsung hero of Indian cricket has always been Ravindra Jadeja. And as I said in the beginning, when we did a preview of this tour, he's going to be a very, very important, uh, uh, cog in the wheel of this Indian setup if they at all have to beat England in England. And he's proved that. And we all know his, quality as a cricketer, just not as a batter and bowler. The value he can add in the field as a fielder. So he's a 100% all-rounder in terms, and he's the number one all-rounder in world cricket today, in red ball cricket. I think he's been an asset to this Indian side, and as they say, uh, wine as it gets older gets better. That's what we are seeing of Jadeja's batting actually. His performance in the first two test matches, especially in the second test match with the bat, it's been phenomenal.
So on that note, let's hope that this confidence India gets from the victory at Edgbaston, it just takes them to a different level. And England are wary of Shubman Gill and his team. Not that much of experience, but still this team can, if they can take 20 wickets without Bumrah and with Bumrah back, they know what to expect from this Indian team. So on that note, Sri, thank you very much for wonderful insights. And viewers will be back again with the preview in just a couple of days ahead of the Lord's Test match. Until then, take care, stay safe. Thank you, Sri, once again. Bye-bye.
Thank you.